John Fink here from GamerHQ. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to install Vita to PC so you can stream your PS Vita along with sound over Wi-Fi. As we usually do, we open up our Vita shell or our molecular shell, and we're going to open an FTP connection. Once again, if you don't have it set to FTP, hit Start, scroll down to where it says USB, hit X, and it'll change to FTP. Once you've done that, hit Start again and hit Select. My IP is still 192.168.1.150. The port is 1337. Your IP may be different. This is just what my router happened to assign to my PS Vita. Now, once we've got that set up, we'll go to our computer and we'll start downloading files. Now that we're on our computer, we're going to go to the Vita2PC database run by Untitled. He wrote the tool, and we're going to scroll down to the bottom. I'm going to include the link in the description below so you can just copy and paste. We're going to download the plugin, which is going to also include the PC software. We'll open the RAR up, and we'll just extract this to the desktop. Skip that. We'll just move these over here. So in the PS Vita, it's got the plugin, and in the Windows directory, it's got the software you actually need to run to stream to the PC. Once we've done that, we're going to go to our FTP program and put in our IP and our port. As you can see, I've already got mine put in, and we're going to hit Login. You're going to be prompted for a username and password as you've been in the other videos. You're just going to hit OK because there's no credentials. And you're going to go to, depending on if you have an SD to Vita or not, is going to depend on where you're going to put your plugin. If you have an SD to Vita, you're going to put it in UR0 TIE directory, and if you don't, you're going to put it in the UX0 TIE directory. I have an SD to Vita card, so I'm going to go into UR0, and I'm going to go into the PS Vita directory, and I'm going to copy across this plugin. It's already on here, so I'm just going to hit OK. Now what we need to do is download and edit our config file, because this is the tricky part. Now, if you're paying attention into the README file that comes with it, you can't just put all, or you can't put it in the main or the kernel because the plugin won't work. What you have to do is get the game ID for the game you would like to stream, and then you'd put this line under it to load the plugin for that specific game. Now, you might be saying, how am I going to get the ID code or the game ID for my games? Well, you can simply load up PKGj, and it has every game ID for all the games that they have listed. Some can be found. If you're in Europe, Untitled has a list, or Rennie has a list of games that for Europe that have some support. Now, not every game is going to be supported very well. Some are going to skip and stutter, some are going to play very well, some are going to freeze. So you're just going to have to play with it to find out whether your game is going to work or not. I've found that most full 3D games don't run very well under it. And from here, we're going to go back to our PS Vita and start the game. Back on our Vita, we're going to go ahead and hit circle to back out of FTP mode, and hit the PlayStation button to back out of Vita shell. Now, since we've already got our game ID in, I've put my game ID in for GAMEID. We're going to go ahead and start the game up. Once you get into the game, you're going to hold down Select and hit the L button, the L trigger, and it's going to bring up a menu like this. Now, the default options are usually pretty good. You can lower the video resolution if you like to low or worst, and that'll change. That'll give you a little bit more bandwidth, I guess, for your sound. Some games have hardware acceleration, some don't. Right now, the video codec is MJPEG, which is the only video codec that I'm aware that it has. You can turn, it's going to tell you whether it's got hardware acceleration enabled. You can downscale, you can skip frames up to 4 frames to kind of speed up your output for your video, because the stream over Wi-Fi is a little finicky, but the sound is even worse. once we've got our settings done, we're going to hit start on the stream, and the game is going to freeze. Don't worry about that. That's actually waiting for a connection from the client on the PC. So once we do that, we're going to go back over to the PC and we're going to load our application. Alright, back on our computer, we're going to open the Win directory that we had just extracted, and we're going to run the PC to Vita application. Now, you remember that IP that we had gotten earlier for our FTP program to connect to the Vita? We're going to use that same IP. Mine was 192.168.1.150, and the SDL mixer right now seems to be the better option of the two. It's the one that seems to have the least amount of problems, at least if you have multiple sound channels. If you only have one sound channel in your game, like a lot of indie games have, you would be best for the OpenAL. So we'll select 0, and it's going to open a connection. As you can hear, we have sound. Now we've also got an icon here that you can click on to change the resolution of your output. So we're going to go ahead and play a little game real quick. Now remember that this is extremely experimental, so there's going to be lag and stutters sometimes, and only with releases of new versions is it probably going to get any better. This is a latency issue, I'm sure. Plus there's memory that has to be accounted for. So there I got a little bit of a stutter. As you can see, it mostly works. But like I said, some games will work better than others. Full 3D games don't tend to do very well because they're really resource intensive and have a lot going on, so they're eating up a lot of memory on the Vita. But if you like what you saw, like, comment, and subscribe. As for me, I'm out of here.